Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining Jose's end of year presentation. He's going to go have an overview of his junior year. We do ask at the end of the presentation, you allow the staff in the room to ask any questions or offer commentary, and then we'll open it up to you all to ask questions and offer commentary of Jose's presentation. So with that, Jose, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Fernando. Good afternoon, everyone. I really appreciate all of you being here today, especially you online. I don't know who's in the list, but thank you. So this is going to be my end of year presentation, my junior edition. So let's begin. So, oops. Okay, sorry. Oh. We go back. Okay, sorry. So I'm a third year top scholar. So one of the things that involves being a top scholar is embodying the 3 pillars, which are knowledge, leadership, and service. And this presentation is basically me trying to explain why I embodied that this academic year. For the agenda today, we're going to go over 5 things. So what I did last summer, knowledge, leadership, and service, and what I'm doing this summer. So let's talk about last summer. That's a little hint of what I did last summer if you don't know. So I was a manufacturing at Procter & Gamble at the Box Elder site in Corning, Utah, which is about an hour and a half north of Salt Lake City. So going into more specific, so I worked in the family care business unit. So Procter & Gamble is a very household name, so they make a lot of products. So they like to divvy everything up by business unit. So what it means that I worked in the family care unit, business unit, was that I worked for brands Bounty and Charmin. So Bounty paper towels and Charmin toilet paper. And so going further into that, I worked in the supply network operations and material utilization aspects of it. So in the business unit, we're making toilet paper and paper towels. So there's 2 parts to that. So there's a processing part and a converting part. Processing basically uses raw material, converts that into a kind of paper product. So what you see in that middle product, that's what's called a parent roll. So all paper is kind of comes from that. And then the second part is converting, which is converting that parent roll into a finished product, which is what you see at the stores. And my job was working in the conversion side of things. So I was working on the finished product side, so working with that. So going into supply network operations, so funny enough, that was one of my jobs, was actually looking at those parent rolls. And as big as they are, I think most of them range about 500 to 800 kilos. So they're pretty heavy and they're pretty big. Funny enough, we can actually lose them in the facility. So my job was kind of figuring out how to do that, how to track what we lost. And then beyond that, material utilization was basically how to make more product from without wasting any paper. So that involved using that parent roll and yeah. And then furthermore, being with Procter & Gamble, that actually allowed me to travel to the US, which is really cool. I would travel to Cincinnati, Ohio, where I got to go to the headquarters. And there it was really cool because one of my products involved so a engineer at a corporate engineer at HQ, and I had been meeting with him over Teams throughout the summer. And that opportunity actually led me to go and visit him at his office and kind of talk to him through what I was going through at the site and kind of look at the changes we wanted to implement and what I needed to do when I got back to the site, which is really awesome. So now let's go. So these are just some fun pictures highlighting the summer. So that was part of the, they paid for us to go to the Cincinnati Reds game. We did a lot of hiking. That's my whole intern class. Well, not all of them, but most of them. And then that's me and my friend Christian. That same amount to my parents. We visited Washington, D.C. during 4th of July, which was awesome. A couple concerts I went to, be eating at K-pop pretty much. And then lastly at that top right, I'm actually dressed as one of the bears. I'm the bear on the right. Oh, yeah. Oh, awesome, thank you. now let's go to the first pillar. So knowledge. What did I do this semester? What did I learn this semester? So there was three things I kind of really wanted to focus on. So the first thing was adult responsibilities. That was a tough one because transitioning from freshman year, sophomore year, now junior year, I think last year I was thinking about, oh, what org events I'm going to go to, and this year was, oh, how am I going to file my taxes this year? Doing that by myself this year was a little different. It was different. Definitely a interesting transition. Then second was, what does real work-life balance look like? So this summer I had the pleasure of being an intern, and that was one of the cool things was working like a set schedule and then coming home and not really having to focus on work. I could kind of focus on myself and whatever I wanted to do, and which is something that I really enjoyed because in college you really don't have that. It's kind of like you go home to your dorm, kind of do your homework, and then whatever org events you need to do. So that was something I kind of tried to bring into the semester. I worked in the first semester, not so much this semester, but that was really cool. And then finally, music makes life better. That's something that's been like keeping me going through the whole year was just listening and finding new music and going to concerts and experiencing it live. And something that makes me really happy. So some academic achievements this year. So the first thing I'm really proud of is completing my one of my courses is a final project, which is a bandpass filter, which basically allows certain frequencies to be filtered out and only a desired frequency to be left in. That one was really fun because it was like a whole process of being theoretically solving for it and then simming it and then finally implementing it onto a PCB board, which is a printed circuit board. That was me in the lab working on it. I think I stayed in the lab until 3 in the morning, which is weird. I never want to do that again. And then nextly, I successfully developed a self-driving car algorithm. So it utilized a line scan camera, which basically sees the brightest pixels. So if you're looking at a white track with black lines, it'll see a change in the brightness of the lines. So where the black lines are, you'll see a change in that camera. And I basically developed an algorithm based on that and able to get my car or my team's car working and driving. And then finally, in the summer, at the beginning of the summer, actually, the paper I've been working on the past year actually got published in an Applied Energy journal. So that's really cool, and I'm pretty proud of that. That paper was basically trying to solve rolling blackouts and using, so with more electric vehicles, pulling power from the grid, it makes the grid more unstable. So we kind of proposed an idea to kind of do what solar energy does, where when you have enough energy, instead of pulling from the grid, you're giving back and selling that. And that was basically the main topic of our paper. Okay, leadership. So these are some of the leadership positions I held this past year. Kind of dialed it down from previous years because of my academic coursework. They're a lot more rigorous this year. So first thing, I was the IEEE treasurer, the kind of handling our finances, selling components, snacks, and stuff in the engineering building. And then nextly, I was a KC ambassador, which is College of Engineering and Integrated Design. I was ambassador for that, where I would basically go to various events and kind of bring a presence of UTSA into the community. Service. So obviously we have a top stock because of top scholar. That was my group last semester. And then I was volunteer for Gatathon. The previous years I was an organizer, but because again of my academic courses, I was not able to be an organizer, but I still held a promise of being able to be a volunteer. And then finally, I kind of wanted to go over robotics. It's a very important part of my life, and I was able to luckily incorporate that into my service this year. So that first middle picture is actually from the first LEGO League championship rounds that was held this past weekend, and that's me judging or scoring a group of I think elementary students with their robot, and that was really fun. Show like seeing the current state of like what STEM students are going through and what they're kind of thinking of like what they want to do in the future so early on, which is really cool. And then nextly, so that is in a warehouse at Navstar, the Navstar like headquarters or location in Elbendorf. What's really significant about that, so that's my second time volunteering for Navistar as a now international, as a robotics judge slash referee. And what makes this one really important to me was that after I did it the first time last year, it actually led to a $40,000 endowment by Navistar slash international to the College of Engineering. So I like to think that my presence there just slightly a little bit influenced that $40,000 endowment. And we're very thankful for Navistar for inviting me again to be a judge there. So what's next for me? Well, I'll be working at Procter & Gamble again. I really enjoyed it last summer, and that's kind of all I could think about this past year was finishing my coursework and then coming back to work.
The path and stay connected. And a question for you. You mentioned music. So what's the greatest new discovery of music? Who are you listening to that you like?
You know what's funny? It's actually it's not new music at all. It's actually Pink Floyd. And oh my goodness, if you ever have the chance to listen to that, it's really good. Especially listen all the way through. It's incredible. It is. I like being able to appreciate what was created before and then now what's kind of coming out now, and kind of like the journey it takes now that there's so many new genres and so many experimental music that's coming out, that it's like you have to be able to appreciate the past to appreciate what's currently coming out.
They were the first. I'm a Gen Xer, so I know. Good job.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Just want to say it's been a pleasure advising you and seeing you grow from your freshman year doing all these things to not only doing two things, right? Extracurriculars, which I definitely, you come a long way, and it's been super, like, I'm super glad that I'm able to advise you and just have a little small part in your life. I'm excited to see what happens when you come back from Utah. Hopefully it's with a job offer for next, when you graduate. But also encourage you to really think about your legacy, right? You're going to be a rising senior, so it's also important to think about what you want to leave behind at UTSA. So yeah, congrats on a good year.
It's been great getting to know you over these last few years, getting to work with you, and even in instances when you explain aspects of your internship or aspects of what you're studying to me and I hardly understand any of it, it's still just so inspiring to hear from you and to hear what's been keeping you busy. So great presentation.
Anyone from the audience or anyone that wants to unmute on Zoom?
I'm going to start then, since everyone is so reluctant to go. I'm very sad I couldn't be there in person this year for this one, but very, very proud and happy for Jose. You are going to hopefully go back with a job offer, but hopefully we're going to poach you. I'm going to make sure of it. But we're super excited. And I'm super excited to see you grow. And I just want to say congratulations, and very, very proud of you, man.